Mia's cannon tore through the enemy fighter, strafing her from above. She shoved her craft down with a quick burst from her thrusters, escaping the debris cloud threatening to take her to hell along with her prey. Bright flashes pushed back the darkness of space around her as enemies fell to the wrath of her flight mates. Sensors showed clouds of missile and cannon fire. A scorched chunk of a wing hurtled toward her. She twisted her fighter, missing it by too little distance. She hadn't survived the ambush to die from a debris collision. "Come on," she muttered. "You assholes need to understand you're not going to win this." Her heart thundered. Her last sensor check confirmed her team was still outnumbered 3-1 after the latest wave of destruction. She'd wanted to avoid using hyperfocus mode, but she wasn't sure how long they could hold out without her special ability. The risk-to-reward ratio changed with each passing second. Mia turned her fighter to throw off a stream of shots from a trailing enemy craft. A hard spin and quick shot sheared off the fighter's engines, sending it spiraling out of control. It smashed into an engine blown off another fighter earlier and exploded. She slowed her momentum with counterthrust in time to nail a second approaching fighter with a cannon burst that tore through the center of his craft. There was no explosion this time. That didn't matter. A pilot with a dead fighter was nothing more than another chunk of space debris to dodge, an obstacle rather than a threat. Her flight wasn't deployed in sword and shield formation. After another dance with the closest enemies, they reformed in a diamond with Mia positioned at the top. "This can't be worth it to them," Mia exclaimed. "I don't care what bounties are being offered for us." "Should I come in closer with the Erinyes?" Ito called. "If we take too many shots at this distance, we risk hitting the flight." "No." Mia glared at the large contact at the far edge of her current sensor displays, a fueling station. "We only got lucky that they jumped the gun with their inslide and we could launch before they damaged the ship. We're in the middle of nowhere except for that station, and we can't be certain it isn't compromised." She suppressed a shudder. They'd been fortunate on their missions to avoid the worst-case scenario of the Erinyes suffering heavy damage in the middle of nowhere. They had far too many enemies to trust blind SOS calls. Self-sufficiency was why her team had lasted so long against the massive conspiracy threatening the galaxy, the Pluribus Draconis Protocol. "We saved their asses big time at that station," Ito countered. "They owe us. I think you're reading too much into this. These bastards aren't good enough to be from the Protocol or KCAP Special Forces. Merc's looking for a payday, I guarantee it." "We won't risk the ship unless we have no other choice," Mia stated before risking a near point-blank missile launch. Her target tried to dive and drop a decoy. The missile struck the decoy, but the fighter was so close the explosion shredded the back engines, leaving the craft tumbling out of control. Mia finished him off with 2 cannon shots. She was annoyed that she'd ended up in a surprise deep space brawl with a swarm of enemies.